from the right, that very distinct sound of the Harvard.
Pratt & Whitney engine. It's a bigger version of the one that's in the Stearman, but a massive radial engine providing that raw, rasping noise that you can hear.
Very simple designation the Americans gave to their engines, whereas here, for example, if you said and didn't know what a Rolls-Royce Merlin was, in America, that's an R1340. R for radial, where the cylinders are arranged radially around the crankcase. 1340 is the number of cubic inches. Very simple.
Very simple. So a training aircraft?
Advanced trainer, used by as I said, the US Army Air Corps and then later the US Army Air Force, because the US Air Force didn't exist until 1947. Also used by the US Navy under the designation SNJ. Some of those Navy aircraft were actually fitted with arrestor hooks for carrier landing training. Very rugged and reliable. Just under 15,500 of these were manufactured in the United States and Canada. And originally designated the BC-1 and then BC-2, the more advanced version. BC for basic combat. All these designations changed over time. Generally known as the T6.
So today flown by pilot David Pettus, who again started flying at a very early age over at Finland. And he got his pilot's license and then became a flying instructor before joining Ryanair on the Boeing 737-800. He became a captain in 2010 and based out of Stansted, and then enjoyed really loving vintage aircraft, so started flying vintage aircraft in 2007, but also still instructs part-time at Finland at the very school that he learned to fly at. He's got over 500 hours on tailwheel type alone, including the Tiger Moth, Stearman and Harvard.
Lovely scheme for this aircraft. A lot of Harvards, or Harvards as they were known to the Commonwealth countries, were sent to North Africa, where they were used for refresher training. Of course, there were also schools there for people to fly the Spitfire and Hurricane, operational training units. The Empire Air Training Scheme greatly benefited from these aircraft. It was a scheme produced in 1939 because it was understood very early that all of the manufacturing facilities and training airfields would be under the potential of Luftwaffe bombing. So the Empire Air Training Scheme was introduced, whereby Britain went to what are now known as the Commonwealth countries to undertake flying training to steer pilots back into the RAF. Countries that participated in that included Australia, New Zealand, Canada, then Rhodesia, South Africa, even I'm trying to think, Singapore. Before the fall of Singapore, they produced a number of pilots as well. And this was the aircraft that undertook the advanced training. So you do your elementary flying training in Tiger Moths, if you're in England, maybe go over to Canada and then fly the AT-6 over there, or the same thing happened in South Africa. And then you would be sent over to England, perhaps flying fighters, bombers, transport aircraft, but it was a feeder line for pilots. 131,000 of them came out of that scheme.
That's a wonderful sound from that engine. So you mentioned Empire just there. This particular aircraft has also starred in a film. It was painted up in the Japanese Zero colours for 29 1994 for the filming of Empire of the Sun, where it had some additional work carried out to make the rear canopy look a little bit more realistic as the Zero aircraft. And then 2005 it was repainted again in the colours of the aircraft of His Royal Highness Prince Philip. So if you're interested in taking a flight in this glorious aircraft, you can indeed, and the Wacky Rabbit is available for flight training as well as experience flights. You can also take a flight inside it whilst flying side by side next to the Hawker Hurricane, or you can do some aerobatics over the beautiful countryside. And if you're interested, just go to the website to have a look for the Wacky Rabbit at t6harvard.com.
Because the aircraft's still around the world training pilots for the role in which it was originally intended, to get them onto heavier aircraft, fighter aircraft, and that's... Give him a wave, ladies and gentlemen, as he flies through. David Petters for that lovely display in the North American Harvard or T6.